Welcome everyone to our Tech Talk today on CloudTrail logs and dashboards. We're really happy that you all have joined us. I'm Megan Cole, Marketing Manager for IDEXL, and I'm here with Manish Gupta, Senior Data Architect, who's going to cover our topic in depth here shortly. I'm going to start with just a brief introduction into IDEXL so you all can get to know us just a little bit better. We are a professional services and technology solutions provider headquartered in Herndon, Virginia. Got over 20 years experience implementing complex technologies. We exclusively support the AWS Cloud Ecosystem, specializing in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data services, and cloud services for both the commercial and public sector. We're focused on supporting the AWS Cloud as an advanced AWS partner and reseller. So on the next slide, you can see a lot of our competencies that we've achieved. In migration, DevOps, financial services, and we're actually expecting 2 more by the end of this year. We are recognized as a public sector partner with authorization to resell and service the AWS GovCloud as well. And on the next slide, you can see our 4 core service areas that we specialize in, with extensive expertise in migration, machine learning, cloud native services, and data modernization. So I'm going to introduce our speaker a little bit. We're really excited. Manish is IDEXL's Senior Data Architect, holding multiple cloud certifications with a core specialization in big data. He has over 13 years of industry experience in EDL, data, DWH, and reporting, and over 6 years of experience with AWS cloud technologies. As Manish says, playing with data is my passion. His main goal in his role at IDEXL is figuring out ways and knowing how we can make people's lives easier by using data with permutation combined with technology. So with that, I will hand it over, and Manish will get started with a brief overview of our agenda.
Thank you, Megan, for the nice introduction. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Manish, and I'll be walking through today's agenda on the CloudTrail logs. So I'll go over the items, what we are going to discuss today as a part of CloudTrail solution. The first is data log analysis and dashboards within the AWS ecosystem, as this solution is targeted towards the AWS ecosystem. Small and medium business adoption of CloudTrail logs, maintenance, security, and cost advantages associated with the solution. How the solution is zero maintenance, serverless services for log analysis, and we'll covering up the Q&A in the last section. So starting off, so why this solution? So I think this question comes to everyone's mind that we do have so many solutions present in the market, right? Then why this solution? So we come up with while talking to our customer, we realize that sometimes it is difficult to adopt multiple technology stack due to one or the other constraint. And that is why we have come up with this solution. Also, there's a maintenance piece associated with other solution within the AWS ecosystem, what are available. Customer want to see their audit trails within their AWS native account rather than being exported to somewhere else and then use it. There are security concerns associated, even though with the log data sharing. Customer want to query their log data directly. And dashboard, again, is another by default feature which is expected out of any logging solution. So these are the reasons why we think that the solution should be, the solution is different, and that's why we are targeting towards it. So now I'll be going over how this solution is different. So we say that the solution is a serverless because it's based upon all the serverless AWS component, whether it is CloudTrail, S3, Glue, Atana, Quicksite. All these are managed services which are fully supported by AWS. So I'll be walking you through over the architecture of the solution. So we have, as we know that at enterprise level or account level, we gather all the CloudTrail logs, which we send to the S3 bucket. From the S3 bucket, we have we can put up the event, and we can trigger the Lambda based upon those events. As soon as we get the S3 log files, we convert those log files into the Parquet format, and we'll store those Parquet format into another S3 bucket. So that is, I can say, like the first module where we save the data into convert to Parquet and store it. Then we have another Lambda, which is a time-based triggered. Okay, we can schedule it like on a minute or 2 minute or 5 minute basis. And this will aggregate all the small Parquet files into a sustainable size within that time limit. And then it will do update the glue jobs with the help of glue crawlers. Okay, so it will update the glue tables, and those tables can be viewed in Athena. So we can view our data refresh in Athena like every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes, 1 minute, whatever the schedule frequency is. And then from Athena, we can connect to QuickSight. So we can see the data. We have got a QuickSight which can import the data from multiple data sources. One of them is Athena, what we are using. And from Athena, we can read the latest data, and we can view our dashboards here. So in the next slide, there are steps which I have just explained. Those have been written so that we can read these in a stepwise manner. So moving to the next slide, here we have got a poll number 1. So
Yep. So right now I'm actually going to be launching a poll, and I'd like to get everyone's attendee feedback. And so you guys will see this in one moment. So I will go ahead and give everybody a minute or so to vote. Great. Got a couple folks voting. I'm going to give it another maybe 25 or 30 seconds to make sure that everybody can participate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and end the polling, and then I will share these results with you guys. So, as you can see, about 67% using Splunk, 33% ELK, and 50% using other. So what we'll do is we'll have another poll later on. Thank you all so much for participating. We appreciate it. Now back to the presentation.
Thank you. So continuing to the presentation, there's a question comes to our mind, like why Athena, Glue, and QuickSight, right? So there is a reason associated with that, because there are a couple of there's so many services within AWS account. So sometimes people get confused, like what to use, where, and how. But why we are inclined towards the Athena, Glue, and QuickSight, because these services provide valuable insight. It can empower small business and medium enterprises where they can utilize these serverless tools and fully managed services backed by AWS ecosystem. So they don't have to maintain anything, and because a lot of time get invested in maintenance. So this is a cost conscious solution, because you have to pay for what you use. If we consider Lambda, Glue, Athena, whatever service, so these are independent services, and it's a decoupled approach, where we can, if we want to ingest any other component for analysis, we can do that, or if we want to take away something, we can do that. And Athena is again like a paper query model cost, and which is making this solution more towards adoption. Okay. Another advantage is like QuickSight is a reporting tool, which is available within AWS services, and we can utilize this tool for effective dashboards. And it has its own engine, which is known as Spice, which is super fast parallel in-memory calculation engine, which drives the performance out of QuickSight when it imports the data. So when we import the data from Athena to QuickSight or any other tool to QuickSight, it imports the data into its engine, Spice engine, and then do the reporting top of that to give the good performance. Moving to the next slide, so they're the key advantages of the solution, because if we find out better information, it can help us in taking better decisions. It leads us to straightforward monitoring, lower operational cost. Parquet conversion reduces the data size to 6x with comparison to the JSON or the CSV. And there are hundreds of attributes available for Athena without any setting changes. So if we see like in other cases, we will be able to use only 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 10 attribute at max. But in Athena, we can do query hundreds of attribute. If even though nobody knows that what does those even do, we can go, if we have got like zeal to go in depth of the logs and figure out any security issue, we can go and we can figure out. It gives us the ability to do all those things. So key features of the solution, again, as I have talked about in the previous slide, is it's a serverless solution. It's just a one-time configuration. We just need to put up the dashboard and report just one time. And in future, if we need to customize it, we can do customize again. It is backed by durable data storage of Amazon S3, which guarantees 11 nines storage guarantee. And this solution is highly secure and reliable because it's going to be spin up under the VPC, under the AWS account with all the restrictions imposed by availability zone and the reasons. So there is, I think no solution is complete without the constraints, and this is not different than anything else. So there's a constraint definitely associated with considering the data volume, what we are targeting, because as we are using the Lambda services, there's a 15-minute timeout associated with Lambda. And in case of larger scale of data from the CloudTrail, we might need to think towards anything, some different solution. But as far as small data is concerned, this will be perfect. And Athena pricing increase according to the data scan. What does it mean? Like right now we are doing like 100 queries on Athena, but in future, if you want to do 1000 queries, then this might not be the solution for this. So we need to think towards the patterns and anti-patterns, what we are aspiring to. This solution is limited to query capabilities versus the search capabilities that are offered by many enterprise logging solutions. When I say query capabilities, we can do like SQL, NC SQL based query in Athena, which is nothing but a upper version of Presto. And again, standardized reports and dashboard are limited to Amazon QuickSight capabilities. I'll be showing over a few dashboards and reports in the future. So now question comes like, who should adopt this solution, or who is which companies can adopt this solution? So any organization which require a secure and closed environment without much interaction with the third-party tools, or they don't want to invest in third-party tools, this is a solution for them. An organization that require that data to remain within its AWS native account, this solution is for them. Small business with low and medium size CloudTrail logs data, this is for them. Any organization that is already on the AWS ecosystem and using its native services, yes, of course, this solution is for them. And this solution is not limited to all these capabilities. We can customize and tweak this solution for processing big data also. But again, that comes with a lot of other things and services and customization. But yes, we can do much more with this. So I will be going through the walkthrough on samples, okay? And we just did a little proof of concept for this. So I'll be sharing like how this solution is going to work and whatever we have achieved through this solution and architecture. So I would like to share those insights with you. So here it shows like sample Athena CloudTrail tables, what we have created out of the sample logs. Okay, so I'm not sure if you are familiar with the Athena and glue crawler, but I'm able to gather like just the information what is relevant to Athena and crawlers. So it will be more you can more connect if you have got that background. Even though if you not, then I can walk you through this. So what happens in Athena is a service where we use where the final tables are created in like a database, how we have in MySQL or Teradata or Redshift. So this is a table which are getting created on top of S3 on our file system. Okay, And on this side, we can see the crawlers for different services. Like we can do the monitoring for all the services, and we can get the respective logs. So if we are interested only in IAM, we can get the IAM logs. If we are only interested in KMS, we can use the KMS logs. So the same way we can have like multiple services crawler and the tables created, so that we can do a query on the targeted service, because some services may not require any monitoring, some services require a lot of monitoring. So it actually depends upon our organization need, how we can use the solution up to our need. So, but this is the view from the Athena. These are the different tables. I think 20 plus tables are there, because we have put up the solution for around 20 or 30 services. And the same thing for the crawler. So whenever a new file landed into the S3 bucket, a crawler will run, and that will update the Athena table. And the data is partitioned due to the performance, because we want to have a good performance. And this is a criteria. I'm just sharing like what we have used. So I will go over the next slide, where I'm showing like Athena screen, where we can just do a query like a simple select statement from SQL, like select star from IAM table. It will show me the data, whatever is there. I cannot show like all 100 fields, what are associated with this trail, but I can say that once we get to this, we can see all the 100 or 500 fields in Athena. And then we can take a call what all fields we want to import in Quicksite and do our analysis. So this is about Athena and crawlers. So this is a screenshot of the Quicksite when we want to import the data. So what happens when we import the data into the Spice engine of Quicksite? This is how the data set should look like once we imported the data. So it will show that how much data has been imported. So it shows that like 379 rows has been imported from Athena, and there were 0 rows which were skipped. So it means that if any row has been rejected or skipped due to any deformation of the data or anything. So here we can have like refresh. We can refresh it manually. We can schedule a refresh based upon the frequency, how much our trails are getting updated. We have specified the database name. We can see here, even though this data can be shared, this data set can be shared with multiple users in the Quicksite. So we can add like multiple users here. And that's how we can see like the data is imported. This screen shows a Quicksite screenshot for a specific service like a Lambda. Here we can see like there are different elements which comes with the trail. And here we can see the data, the sample data. So this is another place if we want to make a change in the query, what data we have imported, we can put a filter conditions too. And here is a sample data sets like we have imported. So we can see all these 10 or 12 data sets, even though we have done 20, but yeah. So all these data sets are there. So this is how it looks like when we import the data set. So now I'll be going over to the dashboards, like what dashboards we were able to generate and what is the value out of these dashboards. So this is a sample Lambda CloudTrail dashboard. And this pie chart depicts how we can track how Lambda resources are provisioned. So let's suppose if a business has provided a guideline that we want to spin up a Lambda only to the CloudFormation, or we want to use only the configurations. But if people are spinning up the Lambda through console, which is not recommended, we can track this kind of thing from this pie chart or this kind of data underneath. So we can say that like, yeah, 69% of users are using configuration, which is recommended. 27 are using CloudFormation, which is second recommended, or console 3%, which is minimal, which can be the right thing in certain situations. But this can be totally reversed, which may not be right in case like if it is 70% console, which may not be right for the organization. So it is giving us an insight based upon the CloudTrail data that what is right or what is not. And it gives us the decision-taking power by looking just into the dashboard. The second bar chart, it provides how we can track different Lambda events. So because in Lambda, we can see like there are multiple events happening in each AWS service, like get policy, list policy, get function, created function, permission related. So through this, we can track like whatever the count is there. And if this count is exceeding the threshold, what is recommended. In the next pie chart, we can see if we want to track like how our Lambda activity is happening as per the region, right? So if organization has said that everything should be running in US East 1, and when they fail over, it should be US West 2 or US West 1. So we can see that before failover, after failover, this is what is chart before failover, after failover, what is that? So these kind of analysis we can do within through our CloudTrail logs. The fourth timeline shows our logs data by events. Okay, at what time, what was the count? And with this spike, we can go at a particular time and see what is special about that time. Why was the Lambda logs like, or Lambda execution was so high at that time? So this is again giving us an insight into if there is a false traffic, then we can figure out to the Lambda like if it is right or not. So the next section will give us the event summary. Let's suppose if we are interested in knowing certain events which are very important, we can create a table and we can view the events that this way. Like we can check the specific events by event name. We can put the filters on the top of data available. If you want to check the counts, we can do that. And this is how business can get an insight on this. The next dashboard shows the S3 CloudTrails. This is again a sample just for the specific service. Here we can see that there are so many events happening on the Lambda, this S3 buckets, where we can see like operation like listing of the bucket, listing access, getting policies, getting bucket ACLs. So here we can see that how many, what are the events which are happening, and is this making sense that those events are people are putting like more calls to those events or not. So that is where we can see that is it legitimate or not. If it is not, then again we can go back and check why it is happening or it should not happen or not. So basically it's giving us a decision power. Tracking S3 count activity at a specific time. This is more or less the same how we are tracking the Lambdas for any unknown events or unknown spikes. We can track through this timeline. And the event summary is again, like we can see here for different events, we can check from where it is coming through the user agent field. We can check how it is being called, what are the source IP address, whether these IPs are in our range or without, not in a range, is it legitimate or not. So these are the things we can figure out through this CloudTrail dashboard. And any security risk can be identified through all these dashboards. So I'll go over the integrated CloudTrail dashboard in the last, which is like tracking multiple AWS service operations by different event. And here we can see that we have taken multiple services, code pipeline, Lambda, KMS, Dynamo, S3, and ECR, and we are checking those events by their count. And wherever we feel like certain events should not happen, or if their count should be 0, and if we see some counts or spike, we can take that as a security call and go back and identify why this is happening. And this is not only the capability. I have just showcased like 2 or 3 dashboard, but there are more things which can be achieved with this data, because I believe the way we are analyzing the logs now is a little different, but how we can do it in the future and through this solution can change the way how we thought about the CloudTrail logs, and how there's much more of the information we can extract out of this solution. So I think that's all from my end. I don't have anything else. So I'm open to the questions. If you have any questions, sorry. So this is a poll too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one more. So thank you guys again for all of your participation. I will go ahead and do this next one. All right. So this is about timing for implementation of solutions. So feel free to take a couple seconds to review the options and place your vote. Still got some votes coming in, so I'm going to give it another 30 seconds, 25. All right, looks like got a pretty high participation, so I'm going to go ahead and end the polling. And share some results. So everybody's right around this time frame of one's immediately, yes, within the next 1 to 3 months, 50% of you guys, and then 25% are looking more of the 3 quarters out or so. So are there any questions? If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to use the Q&A tool that you'll see at the bottom of your screen. But if there's any question that might be easier to ask via voice, please raise your hand and I can just enable you guys to speak if that's the case. It looks like we don't have any questions, but if you guys do have any further questions, comments, concerns, you can feel free to reach out to us via the marketing email that you'll see on the next slide. marketing.info@idexel.com. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us for this Tech Talk today. We really appreciate you taking the time and we hope that you got some value out of it. Please feel free to reach out to us and we hope to see you at one of our next events.
Thank you, everyone. Yep.